In 1977, Jethro Tull came back more vigorous than ever with their 10th studio album, Songs from the Wood, and from that album, the track Cup of Wonder. Hear how the bass note is playing against the main melody of like the flute and guitar, like the bass is going bum 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 bum, like it's scaling up as the others are kind of doing this arc dun like the others are going dun no 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 no, and then the bass is going bum 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 bum. Like it's quite I love just the harmonic interplay, the counterpoint there.
May I make my fond excuses for the lateness of the hour, but we accept your invitation and move for ringing bells loud. For the Mayday is the greatly sung along the old strange wreck, and those who ancient lights little later heed the song that calls them back. Pass the word, pass the lady, and pass the plate to all who hunger, and pass the wit of ancient wits, and pass the cup of crimson wonder, and pass the cup of crimson wonder.
Let's catch up with the lyrics here. May I make my fond excuses for the lateness of the hour, but we accept your invitation, and we bring you Beltane's flower. Beltane, huh? That that name. For the May Day is the great day, sung along the old straight track, and those who ancient lines did lay will heed the song that calls them back. Pass the word and pass the lady, pass the plate to all who hunger, pass the wit of ancient wisdom, pass the cup of crimson wonder. I love the metaphors here, folkloric. Um, yeah, reference to the Beltane, um, the Gaelic May Day festival.
Ask the green man where he comes from. Ask the doctor fills with red. Ask me how great standing stones and shows on his way to bed. Question all that to their ways, and then the secrets that they hold. Oh, walk the lines of nature's own.
Hear the subtle use of organ amidst the like kind of stop start interjections of guitar and other it's like each instrument that weighs in is so measured. It's like one kind they each are like selectively placed here and there.
Pass the cup, pass the lady, and pass the plate to all who hunger, and pass the wit of ancient wisdom, pass the cup of crimson wonder, and pass the cup of crimson wonder.
I have to say the drumming here really complements the music quite well, by Barriemore Barlow. Um, 5 years later, they did a few albums in this style. This one, and then the next two, Heavy Horses and Stormwatch, and then they changed. They got more like modern rock, with like the A album. But on Broadsword, they tried to like mix the two styles, and I had a hard time getting into that. And I later pinpointed the drumming as the problem. I found the drumming on that album really rote. And I just think if only they had had the right drummer in the band at the time. Yeah, it's too bad. Barrymore Barlow left in 1980, and they invited Terry Bozzio to replace him, but he was busy with getting missing persons off the ground, although he said he always regretted it. He said that if it was one of those moments in life where he wished he could have been two people at the same time. And I think that album really hurts in his absence. The guy they got this like guy from like Fairport or what they got one of the folk drummers from more the who just didn't really have a feel for rock drumming. And so it was a case in point of really rote drumming would be on the final track of Broadsword, where it goes into this like chordal section in the middle eight. Yeah. That's why I prefer the switch toward electronic drumming on Under Wraps, because I think that the way that was arranged really complemented the music and Pete Batisse's vision of the band. I love the stately, like staccato quality of this section right here. Yeah, all the notes are really crisp and really refined and measured and just interlocking. Kind of like a Kansas section, like what Kansas were doing around that time, like on Point of No Return, like everyone like playing notes, playing really tight, like measured notes, like interlocking with one another. God, this is really quite complex right here. Great recapitulation of the main theme after those like kind of detours we went on quarterly.
Join in black December, lie in August, welcome joy. Stir the cup that's ever filling, with the blood of all that's born. But the May Day is the great day, sung along the old stranger act.
It's kind of like an almost mellotron tone. You hear it kind of just like icy, sort of like rising up softly. Very refined though. Heck, I want more of that piano though, that crisp piano that we heard in the middle section, just go scaling up. Let's catch up on the lyrics here. Ask the Green Man. There's a lot of green on this album. Velvet Green, Jack in the Green. Where he comes from, ask the cup that fills with red. Ask the old gray standing stones that show the sun its way to bed. Question all as to their ways, and learn the secrets that they hold. Walk the lines of nature's palm, crossed with silver and with gold. Joy, very colorful imagery. I'd like to be at this, at this festival. Join in black December sadness, lie in August's welcome corn. Stir the cup that's ever filling with the blood of all that's born. But the May Day is the great day, sung along the old straight track, and those who ancient lines did lay will heed the song that calls them back. Yeah, I would like to go there. It just sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like people dressed up, in kind of folkloric garb. Yeah, in fact, I'm doing a Google image search of the word Beltane brings up a lot of like fire dancing and ribbons around a pole and people in wild, folkloric outfits, costumes. Yeah, looks like a real colorful type tradition.
Pass the way, pass the lady, and pass the plain to all who hunger. Pass the witch of ancient wisdom, pass the cup of crimson wonder.
layers do we have here? We've got the bass kind of playing sort of up, doing counterpoint to the main theme. We've got those really sumptuous acoustic lines. We've got some electric guitar kind of interjecting, and we've got the flute, as well as that unique drumming pattern that's there was so much liveliness in that number, so many instruments like coming and going and interjecting and chipping in and almost like representative of different costumed characters at the event in being depicted in the lyrics. Yeah, that was Cup of Wonder by Jethro Tull from their 1977 album Songs from the Wood, their 10th overall, and ushering in another creative like peak for the band. They tend to do work in like 3 album phases. That's the general. Well, the narrative goes it's like they did like 3 albums in this vein, just like they had done kind of 3 albums in that more kind of lavish symphonic vein. 2.5 maybe. Or like sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, like because they did this one and then the next 2 and then they did A and then the next 2. You could say maybe Stand Up was like the beginning of kind of like the early phase. If this was kind of in a class of its own, being the only album they did with Mick Abrams. Actually, I would say perhaps like the Thick as a Brick Passion Play kind of breaks the 3. That was only like 2 albums, and then War Child and the next 2 you could say, or I don't know, maybe, unless you want to say that Minstrel from the Gallery kind of could be like the third in the Thick Passion series. But anyway, Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, a man with incredible energy over a 20-year span from this was 1968. Well, at least through Under Wraps in 1984, and then a few kind of health setbacks, and then finally Crest of a Knave. You could say those albums like 1968, 1987, kind of the bookends of their vital years as a contemporary force in music. And even if they became a little bit less relevant after from like Rock Island onward, Ian Anderson has done some amazing solo work since 1995. As a matter of fact, I lose interest in Jethro Tull's work as a band after like '87. Ian Anderson, some of Ian the stuff that Ian Anderson has done, like that 1995 album, The Divinities, and the 2000 album. Yeah, he got more kind of classical, moved into instrumental territory, and yeah, Divinity's 12 Dances with God and The Secret Language of Birds were both really beautiful. Of course, Walk into the Light, which he recorded during the Tis era, when Jethro Tull were still quite contemporary and such, was very good. As a matter of fact, I would consider that more the rightful second of the trilogy, beginning with A, that rather than Broadsword and the Beast, which and Broadsword and the Beast, funny enough, almost became a double album, and it could be a little bit stronger if you paired. I don't know. Once again, it was. I think it's the drumming, like having just the wrong drummer for that album, who just didn't really know how to find the right kind of accents and patterns to complement the material and make it flow. There was just a roteness about it, and I guess I didn't really like Martin Barre's guitar tone on that album. It was kind of generic. I thought he was actually more creative on Under Wraps, the treated sounds that he used. Probably very much at the behest of Pete Vitisse, who had a real heavy hand on that album. Um, anyway, yeah, Jethro Tull, incredible catalog. And band that reinvented themselves many times and just continued to stay relevant and modern and fresh. Um, yeah, amazing longevity. Yeah, there were a few bands of to emerge in the 1960s to remain vital and contemporary, and continue and to remain competitive among newer influxes of bands and remain at the top. It's commendable. For more rubies and sapphires from the catalog of Jethro Tull, see the directory of albums by English J J artists, linked in the description below, for albums by Jethro Tull, the whole entire catalog, 1968 through 1987, as well as other J artists like Jack Bruce, Jade Warrior, Japan, The Jam, John Miles, Judy Tsuki, John McLaughlin, yeah, Justin Hayward. The list goes on and on and on. See them all and like and subscribe. Follow me on social media to know when the next video is coming out, and leave a comment below if you have any observations about the song, its lyrics, if you've been to the festival depicted in those lyrics, and yeah, share some of your stories about it. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel trimaximalist, signing off.